the whole, like, all the lights went off, and the support bands had obviously been on and everything. And it was like, oh, okay, they're coming on now. And that, like, riff at the beginning of Bad Habit, you could just kind of hear it. And then he had these LEDs on the fretboard of his bass that just lit up, and it was the only light was these little red LEDs where the fret markings normally are on this bass guitar. And that riff started, and then it was nuts for 2 hours after that. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool that, like, right-handed people can get LED fretboards on their guitars. What's left-handed people? Most adventurous we get is, would you like that in black or sunburst?
Yeah, that must be annoying, actually. So that's interesting, because I am obviously, I say obviously, it's not obvious, but I am right-handed. I haven't faced this sort of problem. But is it a pain? Like, because I'm so, like, a bit nerdy about gear, and I'm very specific about guitars and pedals and amps and everything, and I've spent a long time building up what I want. Is it much, much harder being left-handed when it comes to the guitar part of it, bass part?
Well, luckily, sort of, the bass I always wanted was a P bass, so they do them left-handed. I was very lucky. For my 18th birthday, my mum and my stepdad, they bought me an American left-handed Fender P bass. But they said to me when they bought it, you being left-handed cost us an extra £100. There was an extra £100 on the cost of this bass just because it's left-handed. Because what Fender do, they have to shut down the factory for a day, reverse the entire process, and just churn out a few left-handed guitars. And it's a really sort of counterproductive thing for them, apparently. I don't know how true that is. That was what I was told when the guy in the shop explained why it was more expensive. But yeah, we get the choice, you know. There's some great bass out there that I'd love to own that aren't available left-handed. And I mean, these aren't examples of bass guitars, but like, you know, Jimi Hendrix, you can't get his signature guitar left-handed. Kurt Cobain, you can't get his signature guitar left-handed. Paul McCartney, you can't get his signature bass left-handed. All left-handed guitarists and bass players.
That's mad.
Yeah.
Like,
Kurt Cobain?
That's insane.
Yeah, Kurt Cobain was left-handed. He had a Fender Jag left-handed.
The Jag Stag.
Yeah. And he, obviously it was left-handed. Then there is a signature version of his guitar, but it's right-handed.
But yeah,
I never knew that. That's mental. So you can buy. I mean, I've seen the guitar. It never even occurred to me. You can buy, you know, the replica. I mean, it's even got all the. They've like cut away all the paint to make it whatever they call that. I think they should call it damaged, but apparently it's a thing where you pay £600 extra for.
But the Jag Stag is cool, man. Like.
But yeah, it's a great guitar, but I can't believe they don't make it left-handed when he's like one of the most famous. Well, all the people you just mentioned are famous left-handed guitarists, but that's insane.
Well, no.
Yeah, it's the case like I really love like a Fender Jaguar bass. They're quite cool. I'd love one of those, but again, left-handed, nope, not unless I go to the custom shop, which is going to cost thousands.
That's bad. I knew it was an issue. I didn't realise it was that bad. I feel for you, man. Have you ever thought about learning to play right-handed?
No. Me and Jake first met and he first realised I was left-handed. He just turns to me and goes, have you ever heard of a left-handed piano? I was like, no. He goes, exactly. Piano players can do it right-handed, so can bass players. Get to work.
Whoa. Jerk. Right?
That's hardcore.
That just goes your line all the time.
Well, you know, too, is like, I mean, you hear the stories of like when Jimmy and all these other guys started playing guitar. You know, what they had to do was they had to buy a right-handed guitar and then restring it just a left-handed so they could play it the right way. But tuning must have been a pain in the ass, I can imagine.
But in this day and age as well, because guitars now, they're built in a way where the pickups sometimes are attuned to the strings. I think, again, this is stuff I've been told. I'm not sure exactly how accurate that is. I'm sure every guitar is different. So again, even like the layout of a P-bass pickup, it's laid out in a way that it's getting the best sound for that way. So if you flipped it around, you're messing with science, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know I tried to picture that in my head when I heard about that initially about Hendrix, and I'm thinking like, man, it's got to feel uncomfortable for one, like because it's sitting, it's resting differently, but even the tuning, because you think if you're high E, you're tuning it to the regular E. I was like, that's got to be a little bit messed up because I couldn't just trying to make sense out of my head. I think the tuning you'd have to go like super like make. Super high, meaning you'd have to crank that thing till it's almost done, till that chord, till that whole string is completely wound.
Yeah, and then you've got straps and cutaways and things that are always on the wrong side as well. So yeah, it's just a painful experience. We're so discriminated against left-handed guitarists. We should form a union.
Right.
Why not? You should form that union, and we will sponsor it.
Yeah.
Here on the show. I tell you what, though, what's interesting is if you flip that conversation in reverse. So I happen to know a fair bit about Jimi Hendrix's guitar because I always wanted to sound like Jimi Hendrix, and as I said, I'm quite geeky about stuff like that. He literally took a right-handed, normal Fender Strat guitar. He knocked the nut off with a hammer, because obviously if you think about it, the nut where the low E is, it's a wider space than where the high E is.
Right.
So he knocked the nut off, turned it around, and glued it back, and then literally just put a strap on it, plugged it in, and played it. And because the Strats have the pickup that's angled on the treble end, on the high end, the angle is designed so that the lower strings pick up a slightly lower frequency on a standard Strat. But actually, part of what made his sound so good is the fact that that was reversed as a natural consequence of him turning that guitar upside down, and it just kind of gave a little bit of a different bit more of a bass range to the high strings and a bit more of a high range to the bass strings, and then the mid range kind of you notice the difference less. And then obviously he experimented with fuzz pedals and wah pedals and all sorts of stuff. That was really the first time it was sort of done in any meaningful way, and did some amazing stuff. But yeah, it's interesting that you can get great results out of it, but in today's day and age you sort of think that shouldn't have to be, right? I mean, I can't get my head around closing down a factory. The way you described that, I sort of imagine that the guitar would be inside out. It doesn't.
Yeah. But the irony of the story there of Jimmy Page's guitar is now his signature guitar is a left-handed guitar that's been flipped right-handed. It's just, it's insane. But yeah, so with regards to gear and stuff, we are very, very much, I had the choice when I got my bass that I wanted sunburst or did I want it black. And if I got for sunburst, then I'd have been in a classic rock band my entire life.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not really, well, I'm a huge classic rock fan, I've been to see Bon Jovi twice, so, but no,
Okay, that's where I draw the line. No Bon Jovi talk in this show.
I've got a sunburst Strat, left-handed Squire Strat, but no, for the bass, it was, the only option was black.
So I want to say this about Bon Jovi. I heard
here we go.
Sambora and what is her name? Renthia?
What?
Yeah, his girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Heather Locklear,
who played with Alice Cooper as lead guitarist for a long time, and like a bunch of people. They're like doing an album together.
Yeah. It's terrible.
I don't know about that, but yeah, okay.
Bon Jovi, I've got 3 of his solo albums and they're incredible. But this new stuff, this sort of vanity project he's got going, it's kind of it's a shame really because he is an incredible musician. He's a huge hero of mine.
Okay. Well, I will. Okay, a couple of things. I will give you the very first time that they played what was acoustic Wanted
Dead or Alive.
When they played Dead or Alive acoustic, okay, that was pretty badass. Even as much as I can't stand Bon Jovi, like that was pretty badass. And
you know what, Bainesy? I'm with you on that. And whenever people talk to me about Bon Jovi, I say to them, that's the track that I will let you talk about Bon Jovi with me.
The only other.
Just take Bon Jovi out of the equation and just go away and listen to his Stranger Things album. Just Richie Sambora's own Stranger Things.
Okay.
Stranger in This Town. Stranger Things is a TV show.
Yeah, that's
Stranger in This Town.
Netflix.
And there's a song on this show, on this EP album, and it's the title track, and it's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Like he's a lot more bluesy on his solo stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
the only other song I will let anybody talk about, at least on the show, that I'll give you is only because it was in Spaceballs. Spaceballs was "Raise Your Hands" when the dog Barf is dancing around and it's playing that song, and that ironically is from one of the
John Candy.
Yeah, that song ironically is from one of the best kind of phrasing albums ever, "Slippery When Wet," right? So.
Yeah.
So, all right, so off of that, guys. So next up, let's go to our next few songs here. Terry with his upcoming EP, coming out January 10th. Now, 18th. Sorry, I thought you said 10th. My mistake.
Cool.
That, in all fairness, it was Mike's fault.
It probably was my fault.
Yeah.
No, it's probably this Mike's fault.
Yeah. We'll pass the buck, and the buck doesn't stop here, right? So.
Which Mike?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just play Mike G because I'm just a guest host.
We'll leave it up to interpretation. So.
I thought you were blaming the microphones.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
listen, on the
Whose mic
10th
is it
or the
anyway?
18th, around somewhere in that week,
Yeah.
you can probably.
So that general area, we'll figure it out eventually. But so with that being said, do you guys have like shows lined up to promote the EP, or are you just kind of going a little bit at a time?
Yeah, so I mean, we've been talking recently. We've got quite a few shows that are announced already for next year. So obviously we've got the launch show that we already told you about.
Yeah.
We're going back to my hometown, Liverpool, a few times next year. We've got we may or may not have a tour lined up that we can't talk about yet.
Okay.
And then there's a few shows that sort of actually a lot of our shows at the minute. We've booked but sort of haven't been signed off. So it looks at the minute, it really annoys me because our website looks like we've got no shows. But we were talking the other day, and Jake turns to me and goes, "Dude, you realise we've got twice the amount of shows in the first 3 months of this year than we had the first 6 months of the year just gone." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not finished yet." So yeah, we've got a few shows. I'm going back to Liverpool with the guys, which is always really good when we go back there. There's a venue there that's probably one of my favourite venues in the world. It's Liverpool Zanzibar. It's this really small, tiny venue, but it's got the best sound quality we've played, I think. And the guy who runs it is a good friend of mine. He has been for many years. I've played there with 3 different bands. So we're taking the EP back there, playing with some friends there. That'll be cool. We're making our first appearance in Bath. We're going to Bristol. We're going to probably heading to Nottingham as well. We played a cool show there this year, so so quite a few shows lined up, and we're always looking for more. So if anyone's listening and wants to give us a show,
Did you just officially announce that you're doing a tour?
Yeah.
No,
No. Oh, wait.
Is that a New Music Saturday exclusive?
No.
well, not quite, because one of the other members of one of the bands on said tour has already said we're going on tour with these guys next year. So it's kind of it's kind of an unspoken secret. But yeah, this again, what I'll say is that a really cool guy got in touch with me and said, we've got this band here that wants to go on this tour. We think you'd be a great match for them. And it's a band that we played with before, and we saw them, and we just went straight over to these guys afterwards and said, "Look, we love you guys. We should do stuff together." And they're like, "Yeah, we should." So just purely by coincidence, this other guy came to me and said, "Look, will you play with this?" It's really annoying that I can't actually say anybody's names right now, but this other guy came to me and said, "Will you play with these guys?" Like, oh my God, we love these guys. So yeah, next year around March, April time, we are hitting the road for a week, playing some cities we've never played before. But I can't say any more than that.
That's fine. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to get into reviewing songs. And this band, Terry, I just recently introduced to Mike. Unfortunately, they're defunct. They're a band from my hometown, Montreal. So they're around when the Scots team was big, a band called Me, Mom, and Morgenthaler. And the irony in the name is that Henry Morgenthaler was an abortionist. Is an abortionist still, so... There's a name. So this song, Laura, this was off their first EP, Clown Heaven and Hell, and off they redid it again for their full-length album, Shiva Space Machine. Now, just fair warning right now to anybody listening, this song is a little graphic, lyrically. So just keep that in mind. So better chance you must be 18 to listen, because it's funny and it's a joke, but it's a little graphic at the same time too. So here we go with Me, Mom, and Morgenthaler, and the song's called Laura. Dig this.
Thank